The Local Show, featuring conversations with business owners, employees, and local business leaders about their successes, challenges, and reasons for doing business. Right here in Central New York. The Local Show is locally produced by Zoey Advertising. Now your hosts, Tom and Steve.
We're back on The Local Show. That means what, Steve?
That means you are too.
That's right. The people listening are here as well. And if they weren't here, well, they wouldn't be listening, of course. Fun stuff. You know, I had my anniversary over the week and the 31 years of marital bliss, and my wife and I are, aside from me going to the gym and everything, we're also trying to get our steps in. So that's a challenge every day where we're looking at our watches and saying, okay, how many steps?
Does it bring you joy, Tom?
It does. Walking is wonderful, but here's what doesn't bring me joy. When I get done walking and I'm thinking that I'm making progress, the next day I still hurt. So no matter what I do, I'm always aching. The joints, and I don't know whether it's the hip flexors or my butt cheeks actually hurt.
Tom.
Too much information.
Yeah. Listeners will know that anybody over 50 things are a little sore. So,
yeah.
So what would your father say? Your mother would have said, "Suck it up, Buttercup," or something like that?
No. She died prematurely. She threw caution to the wind. But my father, he trains all the time, and I don't know. He's just tough. He doesn't care, He's like, you got the pains. Well, it's still you work harder. And he's a tough.
So he is the suck it up, Buttercup guy.
Yeah, and his hands, because of him playing for so long, being a musician, his hands are actually really bad now. Yeah. Like they hurt and they crippled on the hand, which stinks. But
we just brought all our listeners down.
No, people can relate to it.
Let's get Dave. Introduce Dave.
Speaking of someone who's in shape and went to where did you go to school?
Well, I graduated locally, obviously from Lafayette High School, and had the fortunate opportunity to attend United States Military Academy, West Point.
That's
absolutely.
Right. And they made you run and everything.
A little bit of soreness there. Yeah, definitely. In more ways than one.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh, that's wonderful.
Psychological and physical soreness. Yeah. Absolutely.
We're talking with Dave Knapp. He's the Onondaga County legislator, and he's on the Onondaga County Agricultural Council. He's the co-chair, and then he's part of Onondaga Grown. Do you have any time to sleep?
We keep all the balls in the air one way or the other.
Then he works on the Apple Festival.
Yeah.
Right. Absolutely. Do you wake up early like Steve here? Are you an early riser?
Yeah, well, relatively. Growing up on the farm.
Yeah.
Up with the chickens.
Yeah, Tom's still asleep.
Yeah.
Steve wakes up and all he does is watch YouTube.
No, I don't do that when I wake up. That's later. No, I'm moving. I don't watch YouTube in the morning.
That's fun. So, Dave, with all these things that you do, tell us first, what do you do as a county legislator? I don't know what they do.
Well, we've got 17 county legislators in the county.
Oh, Steve, what are you doing over there?
We all represent about 30,000 people.
Oh, really?
Yep. About, if you divide it all out. And, there's a lot going on in the community. Obviously, we work really hard on economic development with the county executive. And, of course, Micron is,
right.
Every other sentence is Micron. But, the county does a lot of things that people don't know about. Of course, we got a wonderful park system. We take care of the roads and all that. But, the county also administers all the social services for the state and federal government. There's about 3,000 employees.
And you're involved in some way, shape, or form with all those kinds of decisions.
Absolutely.
For your constituents.
The legislature is kind of the decision-making body, and then the county executive runs the day-to-day operations. And,
right.
How big is the agricultural footprint in Onondaga County?
Oh, it's huge. I mean, for a while we were losing acreage, but the last several years we've actually increased the number of acres in agricultural production in the county. And, and that's something we're managing very, very closely with, again, going back to the whole Micron situation, is, having to build more housing and things like that. We want to make sure that we're not sacrificing some of our best farmland, for housing developments. And so that's a balancing act that we're working on. We just passed a new farmland protection plan last year to make sure we keep this going. It's by far our largest economic driver in the community. And for a long time in New York State, agriculture was the number one
Yeah, it's pretty big.
Yeah, and even bigger than Wall Street and all that.
Good golly. Now, how do you balance the politics? Because, it would seem that, and some people have made the case that they make it difficult for the farmer. Why is that? Why would New York State make it difficult?
Unfortunately in Albany, there's there's a lot of folks from downstate up there because that's what a lot of the population is.
Sure.
And, they don't understand they didn't grow up on a farm. They don't know about farming. They go to the store. The stuff is there. And so they just assume it's always going to be there. And so, we do our best. That's part of the Agricultural Council's mission is to try and educate, our residents where their food comes from, as well as our elected officials and everybody to get them out on the farm, talk to a farmer, see what their challenges are, and
that's
just
part of
weather.
your job is big into that, right?
Absolutely.
Advocating for the farmer.
Yep, definitely.
So how does Onondaga Grown help?
Well, we have our Buy Local campaign, which we're getting ready to kick off our another year of that shortly. And, we just want to remind folks that, the food you get, it's never going to be fresher, better tasting, or better for you than stuff that's grown right here.
Or less expensive.
Or less expensive than stuff that's shipped in from California or Mexico or, all over the place. You talk about, the environment and all that kind of stuff. Trucking in stuff from all around the country when you can buy it right here, that isn't helping either. And
is there anything better than locally grown sweet corn?
Oh, absolutely. And you're going to have some sweet corn folks on here in a month or so.
Oh, my
on the local show. Absolutely. One of our farmers. And, we try to, for the show here, we try to have a nice mix of the various people don't realize the diversity of agriculture we have in the county. Just this past week, I met a gentleman that grows rice.
Oh, no kidding!
In Fayetteville, and I had no idea that we grew rice.
Don't you have to do that in a swamp?
That's what I thought. Yeah, exactly. So he's going. He invited me to come on. I really want to go see it.
Yeah,
how it works.
I'm holding up some honey. You brought honey.
Yes,
honey.
I found over the years that I have a much better chance of getting invited back to the show if I bring Steve a gift.
We resemble that remark.
And so this is High Wire Honey, a wonderful honey producer right down in Lafayette that is really active in the community, does a great job. And so, I always want to help spread the word. Absolutely.
And there's a lot of homegrown beef, too. We have a lot of beef out here.
Absolutely. We have a lot of beef in the area. We've got some beef producers coming in to talk to you about how they do things and everything. And again, particularly with that, we have a lot of organic.
Yes.
Beef right here.
Grass-fed.
Grass-fed.
I used to think that was kind of hokey, but boy, I've changed my mind through education and through some of the folks that have been talking to me about it, that it is better. It's local. It's it makes a difference.
Sure. Let me ask you really quickly. So with the Onondaga Grown campaign, that culminates with On Farm Fest.
Correct.
When is On Farm Fest?
On Farm Fest is September 21st. Okay. We always have it in the fall during harvest time.
Sure.
And we're going to announce all the farms here in a few weeks. We're having a press conference and we announced the farms there, but we're going to have 12 farms this year. Again, a wide variety of the various producers in the county.
And all that info on onondagagrown.com, Tom.
Okay, sounds
exactly.
Great.
Thank you.
Thank you, Dave, and you get back to your busy life, okay?
Absolutely. I always appreciate it. Thank you.
Kicking off hour number 2 of the local show, we're going to have a conversation with Joe Scrippa, the owner of the Scrippa Group Real Estate and Property Management. Sean Patney stops by. We'll talk all sorts of power sport toys with him. He's the owner of Preferred Power Sports. George Powers, owner of Powers Accounting, in no relation to Preferred Power Sports, will be on. And then finally, Josh Lang, pastor at Redeemer Church of Syracuse. Stick around. Hour number 2 of the local show starts really soon.